Hello, welcome back to Salary Step Up. This is step 17 in the series, and in this step we're going to talk about negotiating pay for a new job. Now, since we just talked about in the previous step the Plan B option, I figured this was a good time to throw this in. Some of these techniques can be used in the regular negotiation, so if you're not thinking this is that valuable to you, I want you to kind of listen through this from the perspective of how you would also use these techniques in just a regular negotiation. But they apply best in the new job situation, maybe even in a promotion situation. So what you want to keep in mind when you're preparing or when you're negotiating for the new job is make sure that you're not throwing a number out too soon. A lot of employers will want to link your current pay or the pay that they're going to propose to you to what you made previously or that you're making at your current job. This doesn't really make sense when you think about that. If you're willing to work for that same pay, you just continue to work where you're at. If that's the only difference is that you're going to change the address of the place you're working for, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. So keep in mind that your mindset on this should be focused towards what your value is to your new employer. Also, that they don't have the position filled, so we want to get them to do something first, which is we want them to make the offer to you of offering you the position before you state how much you're willing to work for. There's several reasons to that, and I'll get into them, but ultimately it's only appropriate to talk about the compensation if they're willing to have you in that position. At least that's how I view it. They may consider that the conversation about compensation has more to do with whether you're even going to get offered the job. If that's the case, then they're bargain hunters. They need to have their thinking changed to that you're the right person for the job and you're going to bring more value than anyone else. At which point they are being given the opportunity to buy into value as opposed to just filling a budget item. It's important for you to balance your excitement when given the job offer with the idea that you're still not done. You've got to negotiate this out. So make sure that you're using the techniques we talked about previously about controlling your emotions. You want to balance it though here. You want to show that you are positive and that you appreciate the job offer. But I would say something like this: thank you very much for the job offer. I would like to discuss the compensation before I make a commitment, but I want you to know for sure that I am definitely very interested. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking with you at this point. Keep reminding them that it is a give and take and that you appreciate the offer for the job, but that you're now needing to make sure that it fits with all of your expectations. The job has to pay enough to meet your needs and other things like that, so why shouldn't it be considered as to how it's going to affect not only meeting your needs, but your lifestyle and future progression. Now, in some jobs, it's real easy to figure. You're going to fill a position that pays X dollars an hour, and that pay is based on the productivity that a person can produce in that job during that time. If that's the kind of work you're doing, your negotiations are probably going to be pretty limited. But if you're applying for a job where those numbers aren't necessarily set in stone, that you can't quantify the work, how many widgets you make in an hour is different than if you're the leader of that group and how much you can increase the productivity of that group of people that are putting those widgets together. So when you're considering this, I want you to think about if your job that you're applying for has a very specific value. If you are able to quantify that, you could accept the position with a predetermined reevaluation, and if your productivity and you're meeting all of their expectations that they've placed on you has hit the point that your value to the company has been proven, that you would receive a pre-designed, predetermined pay raise or additions to a benefits package. Something along those lines would be more appropriate in that situation. I call that like the proving period, the proving scenario. And if you would to apply that same to a more creative position, you might be able to use it in a situation where they aren't sure if you're going to be a good fit for the creative team or for a leadership position. And you might need to say, okay, fine, I'll take this offer that you've put on the table, but I need to be really clear. I expect more from this, and I want to have it predetermined that you are understanding that you will be willing to pay me more if I deliver the goods. Having that predetermined is going to make your life a lot easier to get the pay raise in the future. And you will know what you're working towards and very clearly have it defined before you make your final agreement. Negotiation of the actual contract is something that you need to consider in human behavior terms. When it comes to, let's say there's 5 items on the offer that are unacceptable to you, I tend to run with a basic rule. It kind of fits in nice with a baseball analogy in that it's 3 strikes and you're out. What I've found in negotiation is that you can have 3 items that you negotiate. One primary item that may be more important than any other, but 3 where you're willing to draw lines in the sand, so to speak, and say this is this far and no farther. If you go past that, you run the risk of being seen as something of a prima donna. You want to make sure that your new employer is perceiving you as someone they can work with, someone that they find to be agreeable, and someone that is able to be a team player. So when you're looking at these different items, pick the ones that are the most important to you and address those as being more critical. The other items can be addressed, but approach them from a clarification standpoint. Let's say that you're getting the pay you want, the resources you need to do the job right, you really feel good about the company and all of the other pieces. And so let's say you've got 3 items that you're just going to refine those, and they're more important that you're getting those. And as you're going down that list and you're saying, yeah, okay, the pay and all those things are fitting in, but you've got these other items, go for clarification and use the term clarification. So as you're clarifying an item, it's not really that you're negotiating. A person that you're negotiating with, when you change and say, well, I want to clarify a few items here, they will tend to take down their negotiation face and have more of a give and take, and let's discuss this and see where we can find common ground. So again, I'm more in trying to use the human behavior aspects of that reciprocity, give and take, tit for tat type of thing, and encourage the other party to help you get what you want. In this case, you can draw the line and be a little bit more hardball negotiation if you feel that they're not overwhelmed with job applicants that would meet their needs. And you can also draw out this information and apply it in a clarification process just to make sure we're saying this, right? And when you do that and combine it with the active listening skills that we've discussed, you're going to find that you're able to have a very smooth conversation, which is much more pleasant to the new employer and to you in the negotiation process. Okay, so let's say that the boss has offered you, well, your prospective new boss has offered you a position, but they've also put you in a position that you have to accept it right now. You leave the room, you don't get this offer, it's gone. And we're going to call up applicant number 2, and you won't even have an option. My personal feeling is that if I'm pushed to make a decision, the answer will be no. The reason is that I allow the other person the respect of giving them time to make a decision. There are times in our lives that we make instant decisions. We do it when we're driving cars. We're going to do it in the process of doing our job, where we're going to have to be concise, make a decision, and live with it. That's different than when you're considering a job offer. If the offer is everything you've asked for, you're completely prepared to accept it, and there's nothing of any doubt in this, accept the offer. Stick your hand out, shake their hand, say, when would you like me to show up for work? Big smile on your face. Do not push it beyond what your expectations are. But let's say that it's something that is not quite clarified yet, and you want to have a conversation with them, and they're saying, no, I need an answer. If you can't say yes to this, you're not the right person. Unless you're in a very unique field of work where they expect fast decisions, and those decisions have to be emphatic, and they happen, and if you could leave the room, you don't get the job. That's very, very rare. And I would say that I would be very leery of working for someone that would not afford me the time to make a decision as to whether or not I'm the right fit for their company. That decision-making time is not just for you. It's to make sure that you are the right fit for them also. I would expect that kind of respect. So take it for what it's worth. If it's everything you want, you've already done your homework and you love the company, go for it. If you just want a little bit of clarification, say, sure, it sounds great. I'll take the job. I do want to clarify a few items. Can we do that? And then that would end up dragging into the next conversation or moving into the next conversation. If the offer is something that you really aren't sure if you're able to work with, I would ask them why the emphasis on making a fast decision. If it's not clear to you, there's no problem in asking a question. If they can't give you a good answer, I would say, well, I'm not really sure why you need to push me. Again, I think you get the idea here, but make sure that you're comfortable in your own skin as to what you're accepting and how you're addressing your new relationship with this person you're going to interact with a lot moving forward. All right, and just to finalize this, when you are offered your new position, or as you're going through the process of being evaluated, always make sure that you are ending your conversations with, I'm really excited about this. I'm very positive about it. Find the right words and leave them with that last thought being that you're very positive and you feel that it's a good fit. You don't want to have your parting thought be on a negative or a contentious one. So even though you may be negotiating, even though you may know that they're still interviewing other people, make sure that they have their last thought is a nice smile, good firm handshake, and a thank you for considering me. I know we're going to be a good fit. I'm very excited about this position. You don't have to worry about, by doing that and saying that you're very excited about it, that you're undermining your own negotiation. What you're doing is you're making them feel good about meeting your requests and working together with you to bring you into the company. All right, so that's step 17. We're going to move on to the next one. And I, again, appreciate all your feedback. Feel free to continue to add comments, and direct emails are also good. I'm Rick Richardson. This is the Salary Step Up series. See you on the next step.